look away. The show will wreck your evening, your whole life and your day. Every single episode is nothing but dismay. So play, look away, look away. Three children lose their home and go to live with someone awful. He tries to steal their fortune with a plot that's not quite awful. It's hard to fathom how the orphans manage to live through it. But how a decent person like yourself would even want to view it. Just look away, look away. There's nothing but horror and inconvenience on the way. Ask any stable person, should I watch, and they will say, look away, look away, look away.
Hey guys, it's Vienna here with my series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket series discussion. I'm sorry for the silly introduction. Just that I got introduced to this book series through the TV show, and I just thought it would be fun to just do like a bit to the opening song. Sorry, I'm a little bit late with this video because I finished this series in March, and this was originally on the schedule for April, but just like stuff happened and I didn't really get it done. I'm so sorry, but I'm here, I'm getting it done. And yeah, if you have never seen a series discussion video from before, they are entirely spoiler free. I first will go over the summary of the book, then I will give a ranking of all the books, which is very hard to the series because there's 13 books, and then I will go with individual reviews, and then I'll give a overall review of this series. But like I said before, this entire thing will be spoiler free, so don't worry. Let's just begin. The series of unfortunate events is a children's mystery god series that contains 13 books, and the first 3 books were adapted into a movie, which is the Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, which came in 2004, I believe, and then the whole series was adapted in a Netflix show, which I love, so I recommend you go watch it. I know there was a basic summary in the introduction song, but I'm still gonna give you a little bit more. This book series follows 3 Baudelaire children: Violet, who is an inventor, Klaus, who is a researcher, and Sunny, who is a baby and bites a lot. One day they are playing on the beach near the house, and a man comes up to them, and he turns out to be a banker and is in charge of their parents' heritage. And that's important because their parents have just died in a fire while they were out on the beach, and they're immediately sent off to the custody of their nearest relative, Count Olaf, who actually is not related to them at all, is just after the fortune that their parents left them behind, and kind of does some bad things to them. And yeah, that's the plot of the first book. Of course, there is a lot more going on in the series. It's 13 books. For Christ's sake, it's a long series. So like I said, there's 13 books, so this ranking is gonna take a bit. I'm going from 1 to 13. I read these books from the library and on Script, the second bit of the series. So I don't have any physical copies, so just pop up like a picture of my ranking on the side. Then doing individual reviews, I have like pictures of the covers up. So yeah, my ranking from my favorite to my least favorite is The Penultimate Peril, The Austere Academy, The Carnivorous Carnival, The Reptile Room, The Slippery Slope, The Ersatz Elevator, The Hostile Hospital, The Vile Village, The Bad Beginning, The Miserable Mill, The Right Window, The Grim Grotto, and lastly, The End. And you have to say that my lowest star rating for these books is like a 3-star, so they're still very solid, all these books. Also, I read them at an older age, so I would say they're still recommendable for all ages. Like, I was 16 or 17 when I started reading the series, and then 18 when I finished it, so like definitely would say it is accessible for all ages. Let's just begin with the individual reviews, which will be in the order that they were published in, obviously. So the first book of this series is The Bad Beginning, which I ended up giving 4 out of 5 stars. I think this was a great start to the series, and I immediately fell in love with the Baudelaires in this book, and I really like the setup that it made. I do have to say that I mainly like binge read some of these books, and I read these a while ago, and then for like the earlier books I don't really have in-depth reviews on Goodreads, so I don't really have a lot to pull from. So I'm so sorry that some of these reviews, like for this one, it's a bit shorter. The second book is The Reptile Room, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars, and This one has my favorite guardian in it. I really love Uncle Monty. He was the best guardian, and I think the Butterflies would have lived their best lives if it would have ended here. Yeah, because I think he's the perfect fit for them, as he encourages both, like all three of their talents, and let them thrive in that way. And obviously it's a safe place, and yeah. Then the third book is The White Window, which I give 2 out of 5 stars. This one I didn't really like that much, because I thought Aunt Josephine was a little bit annoying, and I know it's kind of the point of a character, but I don't know, it didn't really mesh well with me. I think how you can tell that these are children's books is that this book is like very much based on like grammar, and there's a lot of like teaching about grammar in this book. It's done in like a very interweave to the plot way, and like this is one of those books where you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely a children's series. Then the fourth book is The Miserable Mill, which again gave 2 out of 5 stars. Thought it had a fun cast of side characters, I generally think, because it has a larger cast of side characters, as they are like working in a mill instead of being with a guardian. There were a lot more characters in this, and I thought that whole cast of characters was really fun and interesting. I'm glad to know one of them made like another appearance in a later book. I was just really excited to see that character again. But overall I was just kind of indifferent about this book. Then we have The Oster Academy, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This is one of my favorite books in the series. I really liked it. I know at the time this was the first one that I hadn't seen a episode for the series, because I said I was introduced first to the series. I watched the whole first season, and then I started reading the books. So The Oster Academy was the first one that I hadn't seen an episode for, and I was kind of like, do I just like this more because it's the first new story, or do I like this more because it's actually really good? And now that I've read the whole series, I'm like, this was actually really good. I really liked the setting of this book. I thought they did some interesting things with the environment. I really like the different types of teachers, and the principal being kind of narcissistic, and just like that dynamic. And then I also really love the Quagmires, and they really get a moment to shine in this book. And I also feel like this is the book where we start getting introduced to VFD a lot more. Then we have The Aristote's Elevator. I never know how to pronounce that, but I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it because I thought it took a lot of twists and turns. I also really liked the combination between the good and the bad guardian, in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's definitely, if you read this book, definitely know there's one that's like better than the other. Like, I didn't really love this book, but I thought it was an interesting setting. Then we have The Vile Village, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. And I thought that in this book there was a lot of character development done, because this is the first time we really see the Baudelaires rejecting adults and being like, maybe they're all idiots, and kind of trying to fend more for themselves. And also there's starts to be like more question about morality in this book. In every like middle grade series, kind of, there, like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter, there's like this one book where kind of the series switches to a little bit more of a darker place. I think The Vile Village was that for A Series of Unfortunate Events, even though like, it's pretty dark throughout. The problem with this book was that the pacing just fell off a little bit for me. Then moving on, we have The Hostile Hospital, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I think this definitely is the darkest book of the series, which sounds weird because there's multiple deaths in other books and this one doesn't have that. Well, it does, and I feel like this book plays a lot with that morality trope. There's just a lot of like dark things that happen, and it's just crazy. The characters also again go up a lot in this book. And I really liked, this was truly the first book where they were on their own and they really fended for themselves, because even though like in The Vile Village they were starting to do that more, they were officially still under the guardianship of the town. Well, in this book they were completely on their own. Then we have The Carnivore's Carnival, which I gave 5 stars. Again, I think this was a really great book, and this one definitely played like the most even though like the previous two books started to question things about morality a little bit more, this one really didn't, as the Baudelaires were also involved in some actions that might be questionable, but they had to, and like see good people turning to like the bad side because they have to. I really like those discussions about morality. My favorite part about the series is these discussions about morality. Overall, this book kept me on the edge of my seat because there was just like a lot of reveals being made, and I thought it was really fun. And then the ending, of course, is a huge cliffhanger, and for some reason my library decided to not carry the next book, so I ended up going on a pretty big pause between this book and these next couple books, which I just recently finished because my library just decided to not have book 10 and then to have 11, 12, 13, but not 10. So yeah, and then I discovered Script, which does have all the books on it, so highly recommend that. And the next book I read in March. We started now because my memory is better with these, so hopefully that will help. But the next one is The Slippery Slope. The Slippery Slope. It's hard to pronounce, I don't know why. And I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it because we were in the middle of like discovering VFD secrets. Like there was a lot of things going on. And I think this is the first time we learn about the schism, but I'm not entirely sure. And there was just a lot of reveals being made in this book, and I really liked it. I also liked it for a big chunk of this book. Characters were split up, or like the borderlands were split up, and I really liked that. I thought it gave it a possibility, especially for Sunny to grow more, like show her growth more, because she is not with the other 2 siblings anymore. Then we have The Grim Grotto, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't really connect with this book. I felt like it was very repetitive. I feel like it took a little bit of a step back considering stakes. I felt like this one felt a lot like the earlier books in the series, and I don't really like that. But overall, I thought this book was one of the funnier ones in the series, and I liked how it pushed the borderlands talents and how some things were, for some parts they really had to play into their talents, and for other parts were really pushed out of their comfort zones and made to do something new. And yeah, I really like that. Then we have The Penultimate Peril, which is my favorite in the series, so I give it 5 out of 5 stars, obviously. I really like this book so much. I feel like the first half was very different from the second half, but it's still like, it's all very natural. But if you just finish the book and you think about how it began, it's like, how did we get here? It is such a 180, but I feel like this is a very satisfying correlation of all of the previous books. There's a lot of cameos in this book from previous characters, and just a lot of like plot points or like things that the characters learned in those earlier books that come back into this book where they have to apply those skills that they learned. And I really like it. I thought this book was very action-packed, and I really loved the ending for this one because again it shows that morality aspect. And yeah, then we have the end, which I give 2 out of 5 stars. This was so disappointing because again this one felt a lot like one of the earlier books, and it felt like a setback from The Penultimate Peril a lot. This wasn't a satisfying ending at all. It's not like the actual ending is not too bad. Like I can definitely tell that people would be a little bit disappointed by it, but I don't mind it that much. I think a thing that I didn't really like in this book is that it wastes a lot more questions about VFD than answered. Like I get not answering every question because it's not realistic. But honestly, more questions were wasted in this book than answered, and then I feel like in a finale you gotta try to tie up some ends, which this book just definitely didn't do. So just not a whole lot happened in this book. I thought it was quite boring, and yeah, I was just so disappointed by this book. And this may be part of why it's my least favorite of the series, because it's supposed to be an ending, and The Penultimate Peril is so satisfying and so good that it just, when you come to the end, it just like so we're already at our overall thoughts. I told you I don't really have the longest reviews for the series in general, and for the biggest part of the series they're all kind of like blended in my mind. So yeah, my overall thoughts of the series, I think it's a great combo between like dark stuff and funny stuff. I think even though like this is pretty dark for a kids series, I also don't think that a kid would be like scarred by this. So I think this series is very smart, and it does so in a way that doesn't talk down on its readers, because I feel like in a lot of children's books and middle grade and even YA, sometimes I feel like the author, when it tries to be smart, needs to talk down to the audience, like the reader, because the reader isn't smart enough. And I feel like this series is very good at like teaching new things, but also being respectable of the things, like even showing like the kids that are in the book and like having adults like explain things to them, and then them just being like, we know that already. Like I think that is such a thing, and I feel like for kids it's could be very empowering, because it definitely doesn't dumb down the kids. The cleverness of these kids is like, there's the warmth, and I really like that. And I think also this would be a great series to get into if you're learning English, like to pick up English with, because a lot of words are, for a lot of words there's definitions given, and like I said, the third book deals a lot with grammar, but like in a way that's still enjoyable and it's like integrated into the plot, so it doesn't really feel like a grammar lesson, but it is there. And I think, I don't know, I think it's very accessible for like non-English, for new English speakers. I really love the characters so much. The Baudelaires, all three have my heart. Definitely can pick a favorite between the three. Depends on my mood. Sometimes I feel more like Claire, sometimes I feel more like Sunny, sometimes I feel more like Violet. I love all three so much. I also think the mystery in this book is so well done. Like, the mystery is actually such a small element of the series, but it's so well done. And yeah, I also really love the narration style. I think having this is one of my favorite like literary devices. I don't really know what it is, like a writing style maybe. I don't really know the official name for it. I'm not smart enough for that, but I feel like this is a thing that's very present in like middle grade or children books, but then when we get to the older ages it isn't really present enough. But like an outside narrator I love so much. Like in here, Lemony Snicket is narrating these books. These books are narrated by Lemony Snicket as he's doing research about the Baudelaires, like a while after it has happened. And I really like the style of narration, and I think it's very well done. And also, like I said before, the discussion about morality in the series is so well done, and so it's one of the most grey area books I've ever read, where it definitely really discusses like, hey, sometimes doing bad things doesn't mean necessarily you're a bad person, and sometimes you have to do bad things for the greater good, and it's not all black and white. It is oh, how it fits that grey area so well is so astonishing to me, especially because it's a children's series. And that might sound lame, but like that this kind of quality is what about children is so good to me, and I highly wish I would have read this book as a series that I was aware of it, because damn, it's so good, and I highly recommend every child to read it. Like, if you're a parent, pick up these books for your children because they're great. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this book series. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the series if you read it, and yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time.